in the 40s to the 80s, the Navajo Nation was mined for uranium for the sole purpose of protecting this country through nuclear weapons development. And I guess the thing that really hits home is that as indigenous peoples, we've been sacrificing and giving more than we even owe to this country in order to advance its purposes. For example, Los Alamos is sitting on indigenous lands. The Tewa Women United, they talk about the agreement between the federal government and the Santa Clara Pueblo, and one of the things that was told to them is it's your patriotic duty to allow this entity to exist, and that we will close it as soon as we win the war. So the same thing, our people and our language were used to create the Navajo Code, which also was something to help the United States to win the war. So for us right now, we're still living with the effects from the mining of the 20th century. The uranium boom had caused severe impacts to the economy, our health, and of course the environment. And as indigenous peoples who live on the land and have all of our ways and our traditions based within our four sacred mountains, this is going to have lasting impacts, not just to our culture and our health, but to future generations.
Leona, explain how it is uranium mines come into the Navajo lands, into the reservation.
Well, back in the 40s, there were no laws regulating the process, so several companies set up temporary LLCs to mine, extract uranium, and as soon as they were done, when the profit was made, a drop in the uranium price in the 80s led to hundreds of abandoned uranium mines on Navajo land and all over the country. Tailings are the radioactive waste that results from conventional mining, and so we've been inundated by a number of conventional mines and mills around northwestern New Mexico. And on Navajo, we have a number, 520 abandoned mines, but it's actually 520 clusters. So there's over 2,000 individual sites of abandoned uranium mines where conventional mining occurred, and they all have tailings waste, which could blow around and get in the water. We have livestock, we use animals, so if the soil becomes contaminated, if the water becomes contaminated, and the plants do, through ingestion and other means, we also become, so those are some of the health effects, the environmental effects, and also effects to our food sources. But the tailings is a huge issue because nationally, there is no long-term solution. So in one community in Church Rock, there's the cleanup process going on now at the Northeast Church Rock mine, and they're proposing to scrape up all the waste and pile it on top of existing tailings waste from an abandoned mine. It's on top of an unlined pile, and they're proposing to leave it there in perpetuity. And so the community is calling for off-site removal to a certified regional repository. We don't want 520 permanent waste sites on the Navajo Nation.